Hello and welcome back to Floating Through Film, episode 90. This week we are talking about, or we're doing our pick a shorts, or another one of our pick a whatever series, basically.
Pick a whatever.
Pick a whatever.
A better name. Pick a whatever.
I don't know what. That's what it is though.
Yeah,
we just pick a genre, basically.
Pick a whatever. That's awesome. I like that.
Pick a whatever.
It's unique. It's unique.
Pick something.
It's it's just usually picking a genre, basically.
Or just like a.
But this time we decided to do shorts because Dany is going to be we're going to be without Dany for at least 1 week.
Well, you didn't have to say that.
Well, I mean, it's fine.
That's fine.
Well, we're gonna be by ourselves for at least 1 week. Dad's gonna be away.
We're recording this the same day as the draft episode.
Yeah,
that's why.
To go behind the curtain, you
never
never.
the curtain.
Yeah, you behind
The Fleeny, you had to reveal the behind the curtain.
Oh yeah, Danny's gonna be going to India to visit family over Christmas, so he's leaving.
And he's so heartbroken. He's gonna miss our musical episode. He loves old Hollywood musicals. It's like his favorite.
Even though I'll still be editing it, so you never know. Like after you guys do record the whole episode, I'll just add in some voice from me.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I'll have to listen to it.
To be fair, it's gonna be probably one Hollywood and then one Japanese, honestly. So,
Okay. That's what you guys are doing. The other person has to see.
But we'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But yeah, this week we're doing a pick a short. So all three of us decided to pick a short this week, and it was Luke picked Cours du Soir. Right?
Even Cours du Soir in French.
Yeah,
evening classes. It's
It's annoying because on Criterion Channel,
you have to type in Cours du Soir.
You can't search by evening classes.
That's the thing with multiple movies. Like a lot of times they'll only have one name for some reason, but like a lot of times, like Chantal Akerman had this problem.
This is insane.
I don't know.
Criterion, do something about this. Unless you want to sponsor us or something. Then,
okay, we're fine with it. We'll suck
Then you're perfect in every way. But then Dany picked Chronopolis, which we'll get to that one at some point. And then, and then I picked The Man Who Planted Trees.
I think Blake's saying that to kind of know how we our narration comment before we just started.
But yeah, we're gonna be starting with Luke since the Tati one did come out first. So Luke, you can go ahead and take this away.
So yeah, this is a Evening Classes is a short film in 1967, same year as Playtime came out, that uses the Playtime set. If you guys noticed, which is kind of obvious, but what's interesting because this short film wasn't directed by Tati. He starred in it. It was directed by I think one of the assistant directors. Someone different.
You said Nicholas something or
Nicholas Rabowski, which doesn't sound like a French name to be honest. Nicholas Rabowski. I don't know. It doesn't sound like a French guy. But basically, it's kind of this was kind of like a sort of like look into what Tati wanted the Playtime set to become, because he wanted it to stay, the Playtime set to stay there. He didn't want to tear it down. He wanted to use it as a place that young filmmakers could make short films, basically, as a set, use it as a set.
Oh, okay.
So he wanted to do that, but he could. I think it was damage to the set, or producers made him take it down, basically. So he couldn't do it. But it's kind of a glimpse of what
happened is Tativille or whatever he built, they actually were going to bulldoze that and build a road.
Or did they? Okay,
in that area.
I couldn't remember.
It was to do with France actually needed that space. Needed that space basically.
Still why?
I mean, he should at least made a Hilo movie about that.
Honestly,
Hilo comes back and there's nothing there.
We're Periscope.
But yeah, I discovered it's no one really talks about this movie, which I kind of wish they did. But I guess I'll ask y'all what your overall thoughts are on it.
I mean, it does just feel like an extra on a Blu-ray or something.
Okay.
I liked it. It's almost like a little short. It is just kind of glimpse into what Tati kind of likes in some ways, about observation and stuff.
It's just Tati showing off. That's why I love it.
It's a glimpse into what's to come in Parade also.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, yeah.
It is he talks a lot in this though, which is interesting because we never hear him.
It's an interesting counterpoint. I like it. Yeah, but he talks quite a bit in Parade too, though.
He does.
But yeah,
I just remember whenever this started, he walked up and actually started teaching the class. I was like, I've never heard Hilo talk this much.
I've heard enough interviews to be honest. But Hilo specifically, I get that. But yeah, what'd you?
No, yeah, but I really liked it too. I do agree with Dany that it's just an add-on, but I'm not going to sit here and hate it.
It's a good add-on.
Maybe I'm underrating it.
Essential add-on, really.
Maybe it's own thing. It's like
I mean, there's definitely a lot of comedic set pieces he decides to use in this. My favorite might have actually been the first one. I'm not gonna lie, but or not the smoking, the cigarette.
I was gonna consult you about that. You know, because I think your thoughts.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because that he goes through a lot of different things in this. It's really funny.
Because that's not the first one, really.
The first one is like what, tripping or whatever?
Yeah, when he falls.
But he's like, let me say that for later. You know, like, oh my god. Yeah, I love this short film, obviously. But I mean, it's just I love Tati, really. Like, which is like, it doesn't demean in any way. It's just like, it's just an extension. It's like another piece of Tati that I'm just like really lucky to have, you know, because he's acted in other short films, like a lot of them before his career started. He acted in a lot of quite a few short films, a few of them, I should say, not quite a few, but like they're also pretty good as well. But yeah, this one just it's special too, also because it's on the Playtime set, obviously. And also, just I think it's hilarious. I saw a lot of people on Letterboxd saying like some of like they thought a lot of the gags like failed. And I was like, I disagree with that.
I disagree.
No.
okay.
No, like it's hard to say they failed because it's like
it's typical Tati.
Yeah.
I see that, yeah. But I don't know.
Maybe it's like, is there something missing for Tati not directing it?
I mean, I don't know. Like, it is more like kind of an acting showcase, though. I guess in a way.
It is, yeah.
But also the ending kind of is like very like Tati.
Tati's movies are way more visually exciting for the most part.
I guess. Yeah, it's very like.
That's what I meant more. Like,
okay.
It is just one location, kind of for the most part. Even though there's some exciting, like looking out the window.
Oh yeah, I love that. Okay, we'll get to it anyway. But before he actually starting the movie, like when we see Tati walking to this like building, we have a little like typical Tati moment where he's like him and this guy. The sidewalk is like so like narrow. Do y'all notice this?
Yeah.
And so him and this guy to like sneak around each other to get to it. Like they like run into each other first. Like they like. Tati does the typical like head bow, like with his pipe in his mouth, and like basically he goes inside, and also little detail that's fun. The chairs are the same chairs in the waiting room as Playtime, and the chairs in this.
Okay, I mean it makes sense. It's a Playtime set.
I know, it's just like it's a cool detail. I mean, those chairs are so memorable.
The ending is really what got me with the Playtime.
The
last.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, in Monaco, really, like.
That's what I was gonna say for the end, but yeah, it's like both.
Oh come on, we'll get to it. So
you would have said it.
Calm down.
But yeah, he goes to
basically, he's teaching a class of students how to act. You know, wanted to show off. You know, show the master wants to show them how it's done. You know,
exactly.
But really, it's more than how to act, though, because
how to observe. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And it's almost like kind of getting a glimpse of like maybe how he finds his ideas. You know, like what he's looking for and stuff. Because do you remember like the first question he asked them?
What does observation mean to you? And I love his answer too. It's like this discovery allows us to spotlight the behavior of each and every individual. But but he asked like some other like students that they're like they try to like do like very literal definitions and like one guy tries to like super theoretical and like Tati just kind of like explains it. But he also has the trip up the stairs moment, which I'll teach you guys this later. You know, like what a show off. Like,
well, no, he actually does because when he comes back to that, he does that actually to just trip.
Yeah, really? Okay, I can remember that.
Yeah, so you can tell he just makes that up. Like, come back to the end. You know?
Great improvisation.
Yeah,
comedy.
exactly.
But now, so now he starts actually teaching this stuff, and Blake, we need your commentary on how the smoking demonstrations were
by the different.
I think. I mean, Tati's is really good, obviously, because like Dany's done this multiple times. So I mean, like
Okay. Basically,
although there are people...
that's a society woman. Because he does
society woman.
No, he does like different categories.
The society woman,
businessman.
It's just like the businessman that just puts it on his lip or whatever. It just hangs there.
No, that's the intellectual. Like that's the.
Oh, that's the intellectual.
The businessman. I forgot exactly. The businessman was the first one.
Yeah, the first one. Society lady.
No, my favorite one was like the first time smoker. Like and like them and like him making everyone else do it because there was one guy that had a good one. I thought whenever he like just going like
he just hated it
because like there were definitely people that have done that too. Their first cigarette.
There's also like the democratic smoker. Like so great. But yeah, like then he starts teaching sports as well, which
well, Blake, did you relate to the first thing in the morning though? He does that one too.
I actually do relate.
He does first thing in the morning too.
Oh, okay.
The first cigarette of the morning, the best and the worst. I forgot. No, it actually is true though.
Okay. So Tati's accurate then.
You do cough up a little bit in the morning.
Did he smoke cigs?
I don't know.
Is there
He
any
smoked a
pictures of him
pipe.
with
He
a-
smoked a pipe. So.
Okay.
Oh, so
Okay.
yeah,
I
good
don't
point.
know.
Yeah, Pipe's more, dignified.
That's why he's making fun of the cigarettes.
There's another. Wait, who also used a pipe in one of these short films? Oh, it's the man who planted the tree. There's he has a tobacco.
Yeah,
pipe.
he does. The narrator.
I don't think the robots in Chronopolis or the alien things were smoking pot really in the Chronopolis.
No.
Would have been improved probably. No,
They didn't get to that part yet in their evolution.
Yeah. Or no, they're past that. I want to say they're past it. Anyway, then he starts teaching sports to them, which we get the tennis one. They look out the window first of all. And I just love it. It's they look out the window. Todd tells them to look at, and it's Tati there.
Yeah,
of course.
No, it's a great cut. It's all I think it pans to the window and then it shows him just running.
Yeah. Or I think my measure just meant a cut. I don't remember.
It's looking for the courts.
He's having trouble looking to find the courts, but very Monster Heroes Holiday kind of take back. Though he doesn't do the jab thing like he did in Monster Heroes Holiday.
Well, I have to ask on these ones, did he record that? Because in Parade, obviously we see him do the tennis act, and you know that the is him actually doing it with his tongue. Is that the same thing in this? Because I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure he's doing the noises. He has to be.
Wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
That's a good question. I didn't realize. I didn't know.
Yeah,
This.
he also just.
I don't think it's as noticeable. Maybe that's because Tati didn't direct it. It's not as noticeable or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
it's so noticeable in the Parade.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But he imitates everyone different people playing tennis.
No, my favorite one is the one where he says he misses something and says, and then Tati says the slightest error on the player's part is always blamed on the racket.
Yes.
On the racket.
I was like, Dave.
I can relate to that. I mean, every tennis player that play tennis.
Doesn't he say after that he was you just adjust the racket a little bit after that?
Yeah, or something. You adjust the string or something. And then the other one is because he does the beginner.
Yeah,
and he says a lack of reflexes often translates into anger.
Oh, the anticipate, or is it what was it? He said, I should have written it.
Those are the two I wrote down, so I'm not sure.
The one where he's anticipation about instinct, or when he's talking about the instinct, he's doing all little things preparing for the ball to get there, and when it gets there, it just goes right past him. It's so funny.
See, honestly, this could have been just a Tati movie, him as a teacher.
Oh, I would. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I wish. That was so good.
But there's definitely moments that it would have been better if he directed it.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
just visually,
at the same time, the director did a good job just letting Tati go.
Yeah, honestly, maybe that's why the talking is okay, we gotta give us stuff you never would do in your own movies, kind of thing.
Yeah. Then we get the Postman, this is kind of just a throwback, visual defeat,
sure.
Which I
thought it was.
We're not complaining.
First we get the Fisherman too.
No, that's.
No.
Oh no, is that? I did skip that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because he asked what is that? He asked the class, what does it mean to everyone? And they're like tranquility, relaxation, peace and quiet. One guy just says fish, and everyone's like, oh.
Yeah, but the how he acts the fishing rod got stuck in the wall. It's so good. How it's unbelievable. He's yeah, and then he's mimicking the rod being pushed by the waves, the current, and having to pull it back to the other side. It's
because I remember there's a lot of music going on during this.
Oh yeah, there's a score going on
basically because there's a moment where there's silence when it does get stuck. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Score's
maybe that's not the thing that Tati wouldn't have. He underscores his music a lot.
He has a lot of music though.
He does have a lot.
He does.
Music's
but he's more he emphasizes the sounds a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get the Postman, which is a throwback to Jour de Fille.
Isn't this the same set that they used in school for Postman too?
I think. I think it's really. I think it might just be a throwback. I'm honestly not sure if it's just if this is a new filming, or is this really taken from those movies. But I mean, I'm not complaining. This scene's one of my favorites in
it's a movie within a movie kind of thing.
Yeah, or just what they're doing. It's a dance basically. Them training and everything. It's so good. Especially when they're having to repeat them handing the ballpoint pen in the mail. That's they'll step forward, step back. It's they're dancing in a way, choreographed. It's so good. It's hilarious. And then we get to horseback riding. I mean,
another one of the different kind of groups.
Yeah. Which one's your favorite? Mine's probably the CEO one. The CEO, acting like he's fat riding the horse. It's amazing.
My favorite is the quote at the end where they're back in class and he's like, he says like something they learned is while on horseback, goodwill is not enough.
Well, also when he's like the experienced riders and he's like riding it backwards.
No, that was my favorite because he was like, but in reality the horse does it better or something. Yeah, it was like the horse going,
or the horse controls you or something. Oh,
yeah.
More often than not, the horse takes over.
Yeah,
honestly.
Rider rarely obtains complete mastery.
Yes, and then it's just the film reversed. It's so good.
Great. And then we get to the how to trip over a step scene.
Yes.
And basically Tati like gets all these students to try and replicate what he did. And Tati's a straight teacher, you know, like, but also some of these guys had some terrible attempts at this, like. But honestly, it honestly seems super hard to try and do this. Like I couldn't.
Oh yeah. Because he's like that guy that comes is like doing the math or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You actually need like 2.3 steps or something.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean,
I mean, the last one is actually the column. How did the column?
The column. Well, yeah.
That's a callback to Monocle. I feel.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Sure. Honestly,
like what I was thinking.
When he does the math again with that one, he's like, okay, average shoe size is 9.
Well, because like you're thinking. At least I'm thinking back to obviously the pole jokes in Monuncle. And you're like, is this just what Tati was telling his actors to do whenever they were doing this? Like, is he like teaching them how to run to a pole on the set of Monuncle too?
Honestly,
like,
and you can kind of compare this to Parade in the way like Parade's like a lot of like the democratization of comedy. Like him teaching it is kind of like the democratization as well.
Because Parade doesn't it have like scenes of him imitating police officers?
Yeah. And fish.
Because that's that's very much. Well, the police officer one that one's backstage, isn't it? That one's not on stage. That one's backstage. He's doing that for like the other members of the crew or of the circus. I thought.
I think he might do both.
Maybe I don't remember. I just remember liking that a lot because it's a lot like evening classes too. Like, he likes to do this. Like you can just tell he likes to do. Like this is something he would just do on set anyway. Basically, is what you would think. Is what you think.
Honestly, like he'd be like he's a great like party like trick like person.
Yes.
Like, but yeah. I mean, after they do the miss the column thing, this is the ending basically. But I love the final line in this movie. For homework, practice everywhere you can.
Yes. Which is, I think, the lesson Tati's movies are basically.
Basically,
you can look anywhere you go.
Yeah.
You know, like in traffic or.
Basically, like make new observations about
like, the world.
Yeah.
Or on vacation.
So good. But then the ending, specifically the ending, is like. Basically, he's walking out of the building, and then the playtime set's being pulled apart. And he goes, and there's a little shack that, of course, he goes.
Which
to.
Looks like one Uncle set, kind of to me.
Same vibe. It's not because the Uncle set's
not
like
exactly, but it kind of looks like a little hill in one Uncle. You know, the dog's always like that.
It's something Hilo would live where Hilo would live. Like it's a Hilo.
Yes.
Hilo crib. Yeah.
Hilo crib.
But yeah, I love that short. But yeah, that's it for evening classes.
Nice, fun little extra. Okay,
no,
that's a great.
You're the type of guy to call films content, you know.
All right, I guess that's evening classes. So let's move on to Dany with Chronopolis. I'm very interested to see how you're going to talk about this.
Yeah, movie, like what's your strategy?
Go ahead.
No, Dany. Actually, I want to know what you guys think first.
I like it. It's like. I'll say I've never seen anything like it, so that's alone gonna make me want to revisit it at some point. Okay. Like,
it's a very open movie.
Yeah, I love.
I don't think you're supposed to have any.
For sure.
I just love like the creation of different things and like.
Plus, I will say like the one I sent you guys on YouTube
looks terrible.
The quality?
Yes, quality's not great.
The quality is the best.
I don't think I was gonna say because the other one I have it isn't great quality, but it's a different soundtrack, which is a better soundtrack than the one I sent on YouTube. Well, I only realized this as I was watching the one because I was watching the one on YouTube I sent you guys, and then I only realized I remember the soundtrack I liking the other one more, but I'm not sure which one's the original.
Gotcha.
Okay. But either way, like to me, the soundtrack is. I mean, it's important apparently because like the original one is really good, and I think that's the one I have versus this one. I think it's different, but. No, anyway, do you guys have any? Do you have any ideas of what you think it means or anything? Because I'll tell you how I found out about this movie in the first place. But
what do I think it means? I don't know. The movie. There is a movie I've seen kind of like this. It's another. I mean, I think Chronopolis might be better than the movie I'm thinking of. But have you guys seen Zardoz?
Never.
No. Let me look it up really quick. But no, I haven't heard of it. How do you spell it?
Zard and then Oz. Okay. And it's very obvious why that's called Zardoz whenever you watch it. But it's got the
John
same...
Borman. Okay.
Yeah, it's got the same type of, like... Basically, these beings that are... In Zardoz, it's like they're humans that have gained immortality.
Yes.
But this one, it's also the same kind of thing. It's like immortality. These beings have immortality.
Like, what do you?
I haven't seen the movie, but I'm reading the description.
Yeah.
It says, in the far future, a savage trained only to kill finds a way into the community of bored immortals that alone preserves humanity's achievements. That last is exactly...
Yeah, like basically like when you have nothing to do, like... nothing to achieve, you just like...
They're just creating kind of for boredom, basically.
Yeah.
But, okay, keep going.
No, yeah. Well, that's the only other movie that I've seen even remotely close to this, and I bring that up because I don't think Zardoz is good. I think it's equally as insane in terms of, like, I have no real idea. Like,
actually, I really need to see this, though.
Like, how, or, like, why they made it almost, but I don't know. Like,
I'm seeing a lot of Cowards 4 ratings from people I follow.
You gave it 4. You gave 4.
No, for Zardoz.
Oh. Zardoz. You gave it top.
No, Zardoz, like... It's well made, and there are moments in it that are really awesome. But as a whole, it didn't click with me, and that's why I'd say about Chronopolis too. Like I think there are moments in Chronopolis that are really good, especially towards the second half. I feel like once we get out of like them just creating, that's why a little bit more interesting. But
I liked it a little more in this rewatch because you guys said I gave it 4 this time. But it's kind of that point where you watch that like human fall, you could say, or man.
Yeah.
When he falls and you kind of realize maybe what's going on, or like at the beginning you're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yes, exactly.
Rewatching it as we'll go through it obviously, but it's kind of a little bit made a little more sense. But the reason I found out about this movie is I've mentioned this book a lot, Deleuze's Time Image book.
Yeah.
He briefly mentions this movie a couple times in the book, and so I'll read you the quote because like there's like one part of the book he just mentions like a one sentence. He says, "In an animated film Chronopolis, Piotr Kamler's fashioned time out of 2 elements: small balls manipulated with pointed instruments and supple sheets covering the balls." He says those are the 2 elements of time in this movie. The 2 elements formed moments, polished and crystal spheres, but these quickly darkened unless. And then that's all he wrote, and that's how he ends it. And then he comes back to it like 4 or 5 chapters later, and then because I remember I was like, that's why I added to my watch. I was like, I can't wait till he comes back to this. He's probably gonna go off or something. He'll like go way more into it. No, he basically just like finishes the sentence. Damn. All he says is, Kamler's Chronopolis shows that the elements of time require an extraordinary encounter with man in order to produce something new. And I was like, damn, that kind of makes sense because it's like the first half is like you see a bunch of circles, right? They're like flat circles, and he's saying that's like one element of time, you know. But then you get, like, the 2 elements of time is when you get this sphere that, like, we start to see bounce around and stuff, you know? It's like, you can tell, like, these immortals have created something new, like the sphere, that are different than all the little flat circles we see. Yeah. And that's, like, the first thing we see. But, like, how he says is the elements of time require an extraordinary encounter with man to produce something new is, like, that sphere is basically nothing until it encounters this man that we see in the second half. When man is like basically a slave at the beginning, we keep seeing it, and then man breaks free, kind of it like it falls down, and it finds this sphere, and we get to see it dance together almost and stuff, and that's like his like interpretation, I guess. And I was like, damn, I really like that because I will say like a lot of the dancing and stuff in the second half with the ball, like the music is way better than the original one I watched.
Okay. I could believe that
because I could see why it could get annoying and stuff like. I just love how open this movie is, maybe.
It's very open, that's for sure.
Yeah. Like, it's literally just circles, spheres, and some triangles. Like, it just shapes, basically. Yeah. Like, remember how I was describing Bresson in LOL, like, in terms of, like, how he just respect, like, abstract forms in his images and stuff? Like, that's what just draws me to experimental cinema a lot. And, like, a lot of his other movies look interesting. But I haven't really seen them. That's basically how I found out about this movie.
Okay.
So... do you guys have any other thoughts on that before we get into it? Like, well, I don't want to go detail by detail, like I said, because it's a very open movie. But is there anything specific, or else I'll go through maybe there's some like main kind of chapters or moments I would say, but because like Okay, well, maybe we'll go, like, let's say God's beginning. What do you think about them? Like, do you, like... I read, like, I was trying to find some reviews for it, and I saw one guy say, like, how this was a still modernist movie because it's kind of talking about, like... You know how I talk about with Brisson, how he doesn't like the way modern world is going and all those kind of things because of industrialization? You can kind of see this movie as, like... This is how he sees the future based on industrialization, right? It's almost just like bored bored gods at this point. You know, they've already created a perfect world, and it's just like boring, and like they're all just mechanical at this point. You know?
Honestly, it kind of reminded me of like Fantastic Planet, like the kind of
that kind of vibe too,
sure.
Especially with the immortal gods and stuff. Yeah. And that's also a French animated movie too.
Yeah. So. This is okay. I didn't realize this French, honestly. But...
No, Deleuze quotes a lot of like just random French movies I'd never heard of before. That's another great reason I like his books. I don't know. Yeah, there's basically these gods. There's like TVs and stuff, and they're like always watching these like circles, like going. And apparently, the review said like it's these gods that are always waiting for new things to come to them too. So, because like we see that lab where like they're creating, they're like using those sheets to like basically float them around. And they can create different stuff out of it and stuff. I don't know. It's a weird way to show like gods.
It is. But at the same time, it's also a perfect way to show gods.
Exactly. Literally, like, just shapes, right? Just forms. Like,
because that's, like, one of the things in, like, at least in Christianity, you're like, why did God create us, basically? It could have been because of boredom.
Yeah, it could have been boredom.
Easily.
Yeah. That's why I like the gods aspect, because I think the ending, I have in my notes, I think it makes a little more sense, but, there's like one part where do you remember like these lamps start fighting with each other?
Yes,
it's like literally like it kind of reminded me of like Modern Times a little bit because like they're literally an assembly line, like two workers on the assembly line start fighting or something. But just that kind of like something on the assembly line going wrong with the people, like because people are being treated like machines, even though this literally makes the machines people, you know. But I guess that happens in Modern Times too when he's like the fucking. That experimental thing they make him try.
Oh,
like
the food table?
The food table thing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, Modern Times is so good.
Modern Times is fucking amazing,
Great movie. No, there's it's... What did you guys think of this while watching it? I'm wondering. Did you guys have any of these ideas?
I was like, what did Dany make us watch? That's what I was thinking for the first half of this movie.
I was just taking it in, I guess.
Did you notice anything, maybe a shift of, okay, now we see a sphere all of a sudden, this is supposed to be different at least? You know, because remember we see it like bouncing around.
Oh, yeah, I remember the spheres.
Because it is noticeable, we see a bunch of just flat circles for the beginning, you know, and they're like... In this one,
I do think whenever they make the sheet into a sphere that stands up was noticeable, and then whenever the two spheres started fighting before they paired it up together, was that what you were talking about?
No,
there's there's that one scene where she's got like both wands, she splits it, and then both of them start fighting.
Yeah. No, they're like cats in a way.
Yeah,
that's basically that these are gods, right?
Yeah. So, but then after that, I think it was just one solid ball that started bouncing around.
Because this is the one where it kind of goes off on its own, really, and that kind of like I would say ends like this first. What he would say is the elements of time, you know, the sphere they've created, but it still needs man. So then we see we go back to because we've gotten brief. I think the movie actually might start with these guys just climbing.
I think so. Yeah.
Like this Sisyphus climbing of these humans going over and over.
Honestly, I thought like Metropolis.
Which
the guys, everyone walking in lines.
No, I haven't.
Like everyone, all those like people walking in like groups and stuff.
Oh, you got me. I mean, I need to watch
Metropolis.
Yeah, what are you doing? Like what?
It just is it like 240 or something? So.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, it's
if it was 140, you know, I would
it deserves. It's like one of the most epic epics.
Plus, dude, I love miniatures in movies.
Oh my god!
When you can use it right, like to use a miniature to like show a huge world is like one of the best parts of cinema. Honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
Fucking CG is like ruined everything.
Like it's one of the best silent movies ever. Honestly, it's so good.
Yeah,
really?
One of the best sci-fi.
I've never heard you guys mention this before.
It's one of the best sci-fi movies too.
I mean, it's like kind of obvious though. It's like everyone knows it.
Everyone that's watched it knows.
No, I know I like it. Just I haven't got to Fritz Lang yet.
Well, it's also I feel like a lot of people are like put aback by like the length of it because it is long, but it's not. It doesn't feel that long. Honestly, it flows really well. But no, I like the men climbing because at a certain point it feels like that's like their climbing can be read a lot of different ways, obviously, because it could be read as just like this is man suffering, like always trying to like climb higher, or it could be like this is like they're trying to become the gods too, obviously.
Yeah,
because like the gods have become immortal. Like that's where the Zardoz
or kind of both, kind of both. Honestly.
Yeah, well, like the Zardoz connection to me is like the people want to be immortal, but then whenever like you see the immortal people, you see they're like. There's no like they're kind of bored with their life too, basically.
Like do you really want to be these people? Do you want to be these people?
Like, do you really want to be these people? But and that's kind of like I feel like what this movie is kind of about too, in a way, is like do we even want to get like gain immortality? Like is this climbing up this mountain to try gain immortality or something, or to reach where they are?
Well, that's why I like. That's why I said I'll just talk about the ending now because like. To me, the ending kind of like clicked in place about when we see the gods kind of die. Like, if you guys remember the title card of this movie, it's like it already says Chronopolis on the wall, but we see it fade out. You know, like timing, basically aging.
Yeah. And
the gods die in the same way at the end. Like we see them kind of fade out, and that was to me almost being like I guess Duluth says time is like the sphere, but to me it was almost like. I saw this sphere when I was watching this time, like almost like man's animal nature. You know, it was like because like he's like petting it a bunch. It's like almost like a dog. So I was like, this is like man and like man's animal nature escaping the gods kind of thing. You know, that's how I saw the end, or like the gods dying. Yeah, no, but that's kind of goes what you were saying. You know, like do you even want to be those gods, or do you? That's kind of how I saw it as they're escaping from those. Yeah. You know, but that's why I love these kind of open movies because they could be anything really. But yeah, like you can put whatever you want to into what they're escaping from, or what they're dancing to, or etc.
You said animal nature is, and the thing was like a dog. I honestly thought that was very sexual. Like the way he was petting it was really sexual, which is also an animal. So, it's also
yeah, exactly. Like our animal nature, you know. Yeah, exactly. Damn. No. But one of my favorite shots in this is when we actually do see him break free. It's like so we're watching them climb one by one, and the camera hangs because all of a sudden we don't see someone there.
Yeah,
and it's like almost like a Brisson hanging, you know, like an empty space. But it means so much, you know, because he hangs on. There's no one there, and all of a sudden I think it pans down a little bit, and then we see this guy kind of like breaking free before he just like falls.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. This will have to be on our floating edit, basically, if we do it. You know.
Yeah, we gotta actually.
We are doing it.
We gotta start it.
It's on record now.
Yeah, we're on time.
No, but he's like falling, and it's amazing, honestly, because like to see falling as freedom is just kind of contradicting in a way, but based on what we've just seen on all these humans, it kind of makes sense. But yeah, but then he finds this like ball and stuff, and like I guess you can go a lot of ways to what this actually means, but that's why I was like, this time I say it more like kind of like just the animal nature, or maybe just a dog, you know, as a friend versus like what he's just been through, but but then they climb through all these pipes too, like. Also, like a little Truman Show-esque, cause like as they get outside of the world, it's like you see the world as a fraud. No, but you're seeing the world as a fraud. No. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay, a little Morbius.
You know the better Truman Show? No,
oh no.
No, but the kind of seeing this creative world as a fraud, these characters escaping like that.
Oh, the Lego movie? I should stop. That one's animated though.
I could see the Lego movie argument more than Barbie. Well, actually, the Lego movie. The difference is like.
They're both toy brands.
That's not a difference. That's a similarity.
Yeah.
I'm saying between this one though. So it's like,
there's a lot different.
I see what you're saying. Escaping this one world, the characters.
Super Mario Bros. Movie that I watched. No. All right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop.
I'll give you a Lego movie for kids.
I was joking when I said that.
Barbie, I'm not giving you that one.
You're not giving me Super Mario Bros. Movie?
Because Barbie doesn't make sense because the world they go to is like still seen as like good. Like the CEO is a good guy and stuff. It's just Will Ferrell. You love Will Ferrell. I love this guy.
Anyway.
Okay, but anyway, back to the movie. I don't know. Is there anything else that stands out? I kind of talked about the ending, what I thought it meant anyway. Yeah. There is this like weird thing where apparently like that scene where they go to the gods and stuff. I don't know exactly what he's trying to say. Like I took it as like. I don't know. They're presenting themselves before the god for some way, but then like they start spinning in a circle, and that's when the gods kind of die.
Yeah. Honestly, I wonder was this stop motion? A lot of this.
I don't know. I don't.
Because like I honestly couldn't tell. I couldn't tell.
I don't think so.
I definitely feel like the balls were stop motion. Yeah. Those felt stop motion, but
I just couldn't tell, honestly.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing actually. I didn't know the animation style in this. No, yeah, but I did not know what the ending meant, so I was confused this entire time, basically.
Yeah,
I did not know what was going on, bro.
Yeah, it's stop motion.
Okay. That's crazy. That's crazy. He went crazy.
But yeah,
I do wish that the YouTube video was like better quality, honestly, or that
I don't know if there's a better one exists or something. Yeah,
because I think I would like it more if it was like restored, because I love stop motion shit, but
no, I need to get more into stop, especially experimental stop motion where it's like I don't know, it's just a perfect medium for experimental stuff, honestly, because it's just like honestly, you need a few people sometimes. You don't need that many people. I think he made this one basically by himself, because before we go to the next movie, I wanted to point out a few I found on the Wikipedia that were interesting. He said when he turned in the script to get it funded, it was nothing what the movie was, because obviously how do you explain this? Really?
Yeah.
But apparently and this kind of relates to what the next movie we're going to do is, when this movie came out in America in 1982, it was 66 minutes, and it had a narration running through the whole thing.
Oh, shit.
And then when it re-released for the official and final cut, the one we saw, they took out 14 minutes and no narration.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is, compared to this next movie that we're doing, I love it. I actually really like The Man Who Planted the Trees a lot.
I like
and the animation style is amazing. I just honestly I want to watch it without the narration.
I think it would work very well.
It would work. Honestly, I think it might work better because it would actually just, like I said, leave the image a little more open.
Well, if you guys remember Crack, that one didn't have any words or any narration. I don't think, but I do like Crack more than The Man Who Planted Trees.
I honestly just love the story, and I just love the animation.
Yeah.
But
I love the story.
It's just the narration, just so much.
So Frederick, it is a lot. I was thinking the same.
If it was Orson Welles,
but
I might have been on board more.
I did like a lot of the narration too.
But there were certain moments I'll be like, you could just have these moments literally.
Yeah.
Not all descriptions, but. No, but that's kind of what I said. I was like, I like this just taking out the narration because, like I said, it leaves the sort of it literally leaves them just more as objects, Yeah. Instead of giving them the story with narration. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that was Chronopolis. So I guess that we'll go on to my movie now, which is The Man Who Planted Trees, directed by Frederick Bach. So I think I brought up Frederick Bach on our My Neighbors the Yamadas and probably the Tale of Princess Kaguya episodes because... Well,
and also you said Miyazaki loved this movie.
Takahata. Takahata loved... So he watched Croc. I think it's Croc in theaters. Crack. It's spelled C-R-A-C.
C-R-A-C,
but it does have an abbreviation above the A or whatever, so it's probably pronounced like Croc or something. But... Yeah, I guess Takahata saw that movie in theaters in Japan, and he immediately went to grab Miyazaki, and they watched it together. And it was the movie that definitely changed Takahata's opinion on animation and what it could be. And then Miyazaki also did say it was one of the greatest movies he'd ever seen.
Oh.
And I do love Croc more than, like I said already, more than The Man Who Planted Trees, but we are going to talk about The Man Who Planted Trees. But the reason I did choose this was because of that Studio Ghibli connection. You watch Frederick Bach's movies and you see the clear influence that had on Studio Ghibli, especially The Man Who Planted Trees. This.
I mean, I was thinking of because I honestly just rewatched Yamadas recently.
Yeah.
I mean, just all the way it flows through the whole movie is very similar.
Yes, and the art style is amazing. I don't remember exactly what I mentioned in our episodes of Studio Ghibli, so I'll just say it again. But what really Takahata was really drawn to was how the action focused or made what happened on screen actually appear, basically.
Yes.
There wasn't it wasn't animated beforehand. He would start working on something and then the animation would appear. And this one is done a little differently. It's the narration. The narration is the key to the animation appearing, basically. Mm-hmm. But it's this thing of you're not seeing until you're actually shown, basically. It's revealing what the character themselves are seeing as it's happening.
Yeah.
And I really like that about it because that's one of my favorite things about My Neighbors the Yamadas and The Tale of Princess Kaguya is the art style and how it looks. and how it draws attention to what you're supposed to be looking at, basically. But,
I mean, it literally feels like you feel like the drawing going across from one cut to the other, kind of, so it makes it feel continuous.
Yeah. But let me go ahead and ask you guys your opinion on The Man Who Planted Trees before we actually get into anything.
Yeah, so. I liked it. The animation's amazing. Story, I'm not like, I don't love the story specifically. I don't know, like, it felt a little bit like The Iron Giant, where it's like kind of like a little too like I don't know how to describe it, like children's book-esque. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
that's why I think it might be better without the narration.
Yeah, I think maybe it would improve. The narration kind of gave it that feel. Probably, like, I probably would have preferred it without it. Like, I mean, Christopher Plummer did the English version. Although I saw according to Letterboxd, the guy who did the French narration is the same guy who plays the projectionist in Cinema Paradiso.
Oh, okay. No, I watched the English version.
Yeah, I watched the English version, but yeah, I liked it. I liked it for sure.
I don't think it's like children's book-esque, but I do understand why you're saying that. But like children's book-esque apply, like, to me, makes it sound like this is only for children.
No, I don't mean that way. It just has that same kind of feel to it. I don't know. That's how I felt.
Okay. But, Dany?
I can see what he's saying. It has that kind of vibe to it a little bit at parts, but I think it's a little deeper than...
Yeah, maybe I'm not getting enough credit.
Maybe if the guy would have died at the end, it would have given him a harsher tone or something. But...
Which guy?
The guy man who planted trees. he does die, but he dies. He gets a kind of happy ending.
That's what it's supposed to be.
I thought it was gonna get dark for a moment when like the government people come and they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do with this forest?" And like I thought they were gonna destroy it, like because that's very similar like Pompoko. Like this,
for sure.
You can see a lot.
That's why I was like I love the quotes in this movie too. Like there are so many great quotes in this movie, but there are a lot of times I was watching this, I was drawing clear parallels to like Pompoko, especially.
But that's why I love Pompoko too. Is like that one you actually do see this kind of like harsh reality.
They're different. They're different movies for sure. One is more.
I just wanted to say maybe the reason I could see why it's more optimistic is, and why I think this movie's a little deeper is, you can see a lot of the coming out of World War II themes in this. So it's just like. Which is
I think
you can see he's making it for that audience. Yeah,
Well, I think
we can come out of two wars. We can do it. We came out of one war. We can do that.
No, that's one thing for sure. No, that's one thing. I think it's also showing like okay, I'll just get into like one of my favorite quotes. Let me find it real quick. But it's kind of showing how if we weren't as destructive as we are, this is the world we could have, basically. Like, there's this quote. I think it was after World War One, the World War One section. Yeah, it was. It was right after the World War One section where he returns and he says, and he saw the forest and basically, and he's talking about like the old man, and he's saying like, when I remind myself that all this was the work of the hand and soul of one man with no mechanical help, it seemed to me that men could be as effective as God in tasks other than destruction. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like the crux of this movie is like, we had 2 world wars going on like this, but this man was able to do this even during that. Just think of what we could do if it wasn't one man, basically. Mm-hmm. If we weren't a race bent on destruction, essentially. Mm-hmm. Like, just think of the world we could have. And I think that's the big part that this movie is basically trying to say.
It's funny because I like that reading. Like, that's definitely here. But it's funny, what I took out of it watching it is like, it's that same idea, but I took it more like even though we live in a world that doesn't happen, like, you can still be like this guy, kind of. Like, you can still have your own resolve, like, because I was thought, it kind of gave me some similarities to A Man Escaped. The way we talked about that one in terms of, like, a man with his project can just stay focused on that no matter what, you know? And, like, when they say, like, you planted 10,000 trees or something, he's like, all I can think about is, like, the 30,000 off. Like, 10,000 won't be that much when I planted 100,000 or something like that. It's like, that's like something I would manscape. Like,
that is actually, like, this.
But that kind of idea, it's like, even though you live in a world that has 2 world wars going on and stuff, it's like, you can still have your own projects, your own thing you can be committed to, like, so yeah, it's not kind of inspiring like that too.
No, I definitely think this movie is meant to inspire for sure. It's definitely an environmentalist movie.
I mean, just the name, like Bresson's is A Man Escaped, and this is The Man Who Planted Trees. Like both like very literal titles.
Very. But yeah, I mean, like, I guess we can go ahead and get into it a little bit. I'm not going to go through everything, obviously, because this is. I mean, it is a very narrated movie, but I guess where I just disagree is like, I guess it just worked for me more where I felt like the narration did take away a little bit, but I was still like just feeling this movie, basically.
That's what I'm saying, but the feeling to me comes almost exclusively from the images.
Yeah. Exactly.
But that's why I'm like, the narration almost takes it away a little bit.
Maybe.
That's why I said I would have got this, like, the way it flows so perfectly is like, oh, I can easily tell it's like changing time or something. I don't need the guy to be also being like, okay, we're changing times now or something.
No, yeah, for sure. No.
But, that's just a narration problem in general I have. Like,
yeah. No, I agree
but
with
if Orson Welles narrated this? Ooh.
Yes.
But like what has
But who'd you say the English one was?
No, the French one was the.
But who'd you say the English
Christopher
one was?
Plummer.
Okay. Christopher Plummer.
But Welles would do it like a super like more poetic, like more like obscure way. Anyway,
Just think of Werner Herzog doing this.
I could see it. His voices might be too slow for this, honestly. The way, like, how fast, like, it just feels flow so fast.
It does flow kind of fast, but a lot of that is also because of the narration too. But yeah, I mean, like, so we meet the shepherd, and we basically learn about his life to this point. I think, unless I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure we learn in this the first encounter with him that he lost his wife, he lost his children. I'm pretty sure he basically lost everything around him. So he has this one mission that he's doing now, which is to just plant trees.
He's a shepherd too.
I will say before we get to the shepherd, there's one great animation when we see like the villages of like all the women fighting.
Yes.
And,
his first arrival to the village. It's
yeah.
great to open them with that because like this movie is a movie about transformation, and it's about how this transformation from desolation to beauty again.
Well, do you remember the quote? He like at the end of the scene, he says, because it's something about the wind. He says, "Always the ever-present wind."
Yeah,
that's also a Manscaped thing too. Like
that is true. Too. Yeah,
the wind blows where the wind. Exactly.
No, yeah, because like they were talking about the seeds being blown all across the world, basically from this place. No, yeah, no. I'm glad that you brought that up though, because it does show like the desolation caused, and they don't say there was a specific reason for it, really. At least in this, like this wasn't because of like a world war or anything. It just was like. It just became desolate.
Yeah. No, this is before the First World War.
Yeah, it's before the First World War. And so the shepherd, we find out that he's just been going around planting trees. But I think before we do that, we see like Charcoal Town. And I do like this is kind of what you were talking about, like the life of Charcoal Town that we just saw. That's like desolate now.
Yeah.
And I do love the quote. Like this quote stood out to me in this. It was like even the most stable characters crack under the constant grind.
Yeah.
And it's just basically showing like how this place became so desolate, basically. But then we do get like the backstory of like him deciding to plant these trees. And like I said before already, we see like all these acorns he's planting. We see like. He's planted 100,000 acorns, and he's expecting 10,000, like 30,000 to make it, and then another 10,000 to actually make it.
I love where he was like inspecting them too. Like he has to like make sure they're perfect. And,
yes.
Honestly, I need to watch again. Just pay attention more to the images, because
watch it on mute. Watch
it on mute.
I've honestly like I wish there was the soundtrack only version.
Honestly.
No, because a lot of it is just I think I could, especially now that I know the story. I really don't need the narration now. Like,
no, for sure.
It does. Yeah. No, because when he does see the shepherd for the first time is amazing, like in the distance and stuff. And like the first time they introduce like the blue and green when he shows the trees growing, like after.
That's like right. That's after the First World War.
Also, I read.
It's like right before. Basically.
Yeah, it's like right before the World War because like I remember I didn't finish this quote because I meant to go back and find it again, but I remember that he was talking about like being sent off or saying bye to him or something, and he was like. I was young at 20, and like I saw this man at 50, and I thought like no one like if you're over 50, you have nothing left but to die, or something like that.
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah. He's like especially since at 20, we think of men at 50 with nothing left to do. But
Yeah.
No, this like a lot of this vibe, like especially with this young character, kind of reminds me of The Wind Rises too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So especially with the war, dealing with these kind of being a young guy dealing with the war too. I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Ghibli in this.
Oh, for sure.
So Dany, maybe with the Brothers War, like dealing with the war.
Okay, it's a lot of different themes though. That one's more like kind of like what you missed, maybe.
That's kind of what this one is.
It's kind of what.
Yeah.
All right. I got that in.
I get, but this has got more of like an outsider movie though.
This one's like, more about time, also.
Yeah,
like it's definitely about the passing of time for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the First World War, like we had this section. I do like the animation style a lot, but it is just more so I feel like he has the wars are put in here just more so to emphasize that this man didn't stop no matter for anything basically. And like I really do think that this is like maybe Frederick Bach, but also just the ideal man almost. Like,
but this is based on a story.
Oh, probably
based on a short story. I don't know actually. So
yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know. I'm assuming it's based on a short story.
But it seems like kind of a old fairy children's story.
No, it seems like at least a short story because the narration seems like it would be a short story narration or like from a short story, but
yeah.
But yeah, like the big thing after the First World War is like he comes back and sees the forest for the first time and how it's grown over the years. I think 10 years had passed or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but this is where that quote that I already said before, like my favorite quote, or probably my favorite quote. There's a lot of great quotes in this though, but when I remind myself that all this was the work of the hand and soul of one man with no mechanical help, it seemed to me that men could be as effective as God in tasks other than destruction. Like it's just such a good quote.
I mean, see, that sounds like something that he would have said in The Wind Rises. Talk about airplanes.
I think he did say that in The Wind Rises. They did say that in The Wind Rises about planes because, like, I'm pretty sure.
Fraud. Okay.
No, because I'm pretty sure that dream sequence with the Italian plane maker, they said like, look at what we could do if we weren't all like bent on destruction or something. Like this is what we could make.
Yes.
But there's no profit in it or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but after we see the forest, like we have this section where he's talking about how it's grown over time and how basically like since no one knew it was planted, like no one knew how it came to be, it just like sprang up overnight and they were surprised about it. Like the hunters were the first one to come. And I'm gonna read this entire quote because I love it a lot, and I just love like this is maybe my favorite section of the movie whenever the hunters arrive and start walking through it because it's just amazing. But he says, of course, hunters who climbed these heights in search of hares and wild boar had noticed the sudden appearance of little trees, but had put it down to some caprice of nature. That is why no one had meddled with the work of the shepherd. If they had suspected it was man's work, they would have interfered. But who would even think of him? Who in the villages or among the authorities could even have imagined such constant, magnificent generosity?
Yes.
Like that's definitely just I love that quote, and it's definitely poking, not fun, but like just pointing the finger at government in general or just people in general of like you're basically the ones causing all this destruction. If you just let people like this man that actually want to help the world do it, like this is what could become of it almost. Like I don't know.
No, I like that reading a lot because that goes what you were saying at the beginning.
Yeah.
I just like that. I like that idea too. If they suspected it was man's work, they would interfere.
Wait,
like,
what's that old like American tale? It's like Johnny Appleseed. Isn't it like kind of
that similar? That's a very similar.
That's like similar, yeah.
Yeah, he went around playing apple seeds everywhere he could or something.
Yeah, and like basically like
a folk tale.
He never saw the trees really, but
I don't remember the ending to be honest. I
don't know, but I know what you're talking
about. I
remember
him like going like.
I like this. I like in this movie how the old man never really sees the trees though, because it says like I think if we're actually coming up to the quote, I didn't write this one down, but it was basically like, I wish the old man could see his work, but he was already 30 kilometers down the road planting more trees or something. Yes, yeah. It's like he doesn't even stop to like admire his work. He's only worried about planting more and making it even more beautiful. Yeah. I do have a note that we have a great moonshot in this.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to show you guys later.
Okay, because I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But then this is what you were talking about earlier. Like, the darkest point of the movie is whenever the government arrives and you don't know what's going to happen, basically. You don't know, like, is this... And honestly, like, nowadays, you could definitely... Like, this definitely feels like even a pessimistic movie almost, because if this, like, forest actually existed here, it probably would be, like, renovated for apartments in France or something. Unless it was, like, way too far. I mean,
if the land's valuable, you know, that's all it comes down to.
But yeah, like, the arrival of the government somehow ended okay, because they decided to make it, like, a national... Like, basically a national forest.
They protected it,
Basically a national forest because of how beautiful it was. I have another just quick quote that was written down where the narrator was like, he was one of God's athletes.
I love that, yeah. Because they're talking about when they bring the friend later to meet him.
Yes.
And the friend's like, I would have given him advice, but he knew more about this than I did.
Yes, so the forester. The forester brought with him. He was like, he probably knows the most of anyone in the world.
Yeah.
And then we have the last encounter with the man who planted trees. or with the shepherd. And this is more so. This last encounter is more so just a reason for us to go back through the town that we saw at the very beginning and see how it's changed.
Yes.
And just to see the payoff of what this man's life has been like what his life has been for, basically, is for this. And it is. This is why I really love it. Is like it shows that human generosity and care can like change like desolate areas into something beautiful again.
Yes.
Like it's
still
not.
Has that hope.
Yeah, it's just, it still has that hope in it. I don't know. And, it's like humans are capable of some of the most atrocious things in like we could think of, but they're also capable of like great generosity, like we see all the time, honestly. But it's just we need to figure out how to get off of the atrocity and the destruction and more into generosity instead, and love.
And like, do you remember like at the beginning of the movie? It's like when he's first walking to like the village, he says something like, "Once I must have been a fountain, or perhaps a well."
Yes.
And at the very end, it like hangs on this fountain that he sees at the town that has changed and everything.
Because he's talking about like rebirth and stuff.
Yeah, no, he
like
says
that.
like the linden tree, which must be a type of tree.
It's a tree that signifies rebirth or something. I'm pretty sure is what he said.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're seeing like a woman with her baby like around that fountain or whatever. And I guess I do have one more quote before we end on this movie, and it's when I think that one man, one body, and one spirit was enough to turn a desert into the land of Canaan. I find after all that man's destiny can be truly wonderful. But when I consider the passionate determination, the unfailing generosity of spirit it took to achieve this end, I am filled with admiration for this old, unlearned peasant who was able to complete a task worthy of God.
It's a great way to end the movie.
It is. That quote.
I might not give enough credit.
No, I understand your complaint because the narration, that was the one thing that whenever I was watching it, I was like, Danny especially is not going to like
it might just not. It might just be the narration. It's like a little too like literal.
It's on the nose.
Yeah,
or
like
actually,
on the nose.
But the movie, the images are actually not on the nose though. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like a.
It's making it more on the nose than it needs to be, maybe.
Yeah, that's maybe why I kind of read it that way.
But like that's because like, and maybe it's like Pompoko. Like I was giving that example. They get a little darker in their movies.
No, I'm glad that you brought up Pompoko because that's like this last quote I especially correlate to Pompoko because like in Pompoko, if you guys remember that one scene where the raccoons are like, we basically thought they were gods because only gods could do like this development that they've done to the land. Yes. That's the exact same thing that this quote is saying at the very end. It's like, who was able to complete a task worthy of God. It's just like one's for the good and one's for the bad.
But
like we're
there's
able
something
to do
about
both.
even watching this movie is like seeing it that came out in like the 80s and being like, it doesn't even feel possible now.
No,
you know. So it has that same Pompoko feeling for us anyway. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe so, but you're right. We always have to have hope at least.
Like, we do. Yeah. But yeah, that is the man who planted trees, and that is the episode for this week. We needed to get a short one, before Dany.
It fits the episode.
Under an hour now. This is our first one under an hour in a while, I feel like. Next week whenever we return, Luke and I are going to be by ourselves, and we're going to be choosing a musical.
We're kicking Dany off.
Yes.
And I think we already have the musicals we're going to do, so we can go in there and say it if you want.
The Bandwagon.
And then we're going to do The Legend of the Stardust Brothers.
Okay, we're doing that.
Yeah, we're doing that one. So look forward to that. We look forward to that. And thank you again for joining us. We hope to see you guys floating through the clouds.